Hello, hello. I'm a goob. I had a realization. You see, this is going up on my solo channel, the Sleepwalker060, and I have that name because I'm tired as hell all the time. But the realization I had is I can use this to promote the channel I have with my roommate, Double Trouble 0226. You see, we play Peak, we play Repo, we play Don't Starve. We haven't recorded anything for Don't Starve, and I haven't edited the Repo videos yet. But if you want to see us climbing the mountain and see who can swear the most, you can go watch uh, those videos over there. Unfortunately, I can't post links yet because I don't have a big enough following. Um, this video, however, is going to be just me commenting or just climbing in silence due to the fact that I was recording this at like 1:30 in the morning and I finished around like 2:30, 2:40. So it was late. My roommate was not awake at the time. And me yapping like an idiot while climbing this mountain would not help with a sleep schedule. But anyway, on the beach, I collected a bunch of stuff, found a whole bunch of food, found ropes and rope darts. But I'm going to skip further ahead so you can see the kind of luck I had in this climb and how ridiculous it was. So, here I am approaching the top of, the beach, the starting zone. Take a guess what I got from the statue. But you can't guess because currently I have one rope dart and one anti gravity rope dart in my inventory, specifically in my backpack. Because on the beach there was a cursed chest. Well, ancient luggage. And here I am, getting another anti gravity rope. I was thinking. But yeah, two anti gravity ropes and one regular rope gun. Me and my roommate weren't so lucky when we initially opened up the ancient chest on the beach. But that's okay. I have a little bit of difficulty and a bit of fun in the tropics. Of course, throwing safety right out the window. Also, once again, here is another example of amazing luck during this run. That 100% made this run possible. Another rope gun. And a piton. I had to make the difficult decision to drop an energy drink. I used it though, because you can hold extra items in your hands. I just needed to figure out where I would start climbing and then drink it and go. And I figured, why not go a similar path as to what I tried with my roomie. I just needed to make sure I was able to actually use it somewhat effectively, which thankfully I did. Now you get to watch as I shimmy my way up this mountain. As you can probably tell by me looking around a little bit confused, I was having a hard time figuring out where to go exactly. Because I remember getting very stuck in this area. And I had to figure out a way to get up. And I thought maybe I could throw this far enough to put a shelf somewhere useful, but obviously I didn't. And I found myself in a spot that we couldn't climb previously. It's a little too high. We didn't exactly have the best gear to make it to the top either. Yeah, that ledge over there. And I guess I figured, well, why not give it a try? Waiting for the rain to stop, I kind of just went for it. See, I knew that getting through here with a group would be more difficult. And I knew that if we didn't have pittons and ropes and such, we wouldn't be able to make it either. But on this climb, I had a pitton. And I had an entire extra stamina bar. So I figured, why not? See, if I wanted to get through here previously with my companions, I would need a full stamina bar extra, a pitton, and a rope. Let alone I had a little bit more luck. It's just how it is sometimes. But now I didn't know exactly where to go. I was thinking of going over and getting the chest, but I wasn't sure if I could make it back. I knew there was plenty of chests in other biomes, so weighing the risk versus the reward, I chose to move on. Those other chests in the future, though, were equally nice to me. But I'll let you just watch me climb to the top and pick up with my yapping afterwards. So, here I am having made it to the top of the tropics. And what did I get? Anti-gravity rope. A very lucky find. It is very useful later. And of course, I enjoyed a nice campfire. I didn't need too much in terms of food, but it is nice to, you know, not be starving going to the next area or even a little hungry. Since every second counts. But learning from mistakes I had made earlier in the night, I decided I would try to get out of this area as quickly as possible. Since last time, unfortunately, me and my friends incurred horrible losses. We lost a lot of health, we lost a lot of food, and ended up dying before getting very far. So I decided that I would only grab what I absolutely had to and just run. Dancing for once, of course. But I had an idea for how to climb through this area because last time I saw a little bit of a path on how to get up. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good of a path as I thought it was. Also, that kitten was not nearly as useful as it could have been. Because I actually lose it later. But for now, I'm going to fast forward just a little bit to where I start climbing. So, at this point in the video, I kind of realized I was screwed because I was in a bad spot and didn't quite know how to deal with it, but I knew I didn't have enough food to just hang around, and I had to make do with where I was and what I had. But I got hit with a bit of snow at a bad time. It happens. But I knew I needed to get up, which is easy enough to figure out. But I wasn't sure if any of the ledges here were safe to stand on, or if I would freeze to death when the snow came. And as you can see, the mountain was not being nice to me. The chests were, but the mountain was certainly not. Of course, I wanted to use the lollipop to get some hunger and to try to get as high as I could to see if it was even possible. Because if I can get up high enough, I can place one of the rope darts and get even further up. Unfortunately, not very many wide ledges this high up. And I fell. But in the end, I did manage to make it to the top. It's just the journey that was a real pain. And of course, I was freezing, and I knew I would have to do something. But I didn't want to drop my anti gravity rope because it would disappear. So I had to make the decision to stuff it in the pack. And, well, I used a rope. Not an ideal situation, but it had to be done. Only I was a little more careful with my stamina management. But after warming up, I tried again. This time, it was the cold that got to me. Oh, what lovely wind. So, huddling in the only spot I could think of that might be safe, I kind of just had to pray. This time, though, I was lucky. There I was not, though. And there goes the pitten. Just as I said earlier, it was not as useful as I could have hoped. And unfortunately, I needed health. And I needed food. So I had to make the wonderful decision to go back down. Oh boy. A decision I was not very happy about. I unfortunately didn't have any regular ropes on me, so I couldn't just place a normal one. I actually had to use rope dart. But I was lucky. I got bandages. However, I needed to get back up, and I had to use the anti-gravity rope. A very painful decision to make. But I'm going to let you watch how all this unfolded without me having to commentate. So my roommate doesn't know that this is a thing, but she's about to witness something on a very tiny screen. So I picked up a flare, correct?
Yeah.
Watch what happens with the flare as I'm getting colder.
Oh shit, you can use it like a torch.
Yep. The flare helps keep away the cold.
Huh.
So this is something I learned in the middle of the night, and I kid you not. I was sitting there with my mouth open going, oh my god, thank you. Because you can walk around with those. And it not only keeps you warm, it keeps anyone who's near you warm.
Interesting.
Yeah. It took me a while to learn that.
Yeah. That would have been great information to know when we were playing.
Yeah, it really would have been, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would have. We would have probably died less.
Yeah. Well, you guys would have died regardless because you guys were like starving too. During the entire time I was climbing, I only found like 2 trees that had food on them. We would have starved if we stayed down there.
Cannibalism.
Yeah, but then neither of you are good enough to climb up on your own.
Exactly.
I'm not eating my friends. I don't like eating my friends. I feel bad. It makes me feel guilty.
Yeah.
Good point. No, I wouldn't eat you guys. I'd eat everyone else first.
Same.
What? You're lean.
Fuck you.
That's a good thing. It means you're skinny. But yeah, I was having such a hard time climbing, and then I finally got up to this point, and I was literally just holding my breath because I wanted to reach the top. And look what I found. I found a sports drink and a frickin' heating pack. This heating pack saved me, by the way.
I'm sure it did.
Would you like to see how? See that blue ice over there?
Yeah.
I had to traverse that to get further. And the heating pack kept me from freezing to death while I was climbing over it.
Nice.
Because I'll look up in just a second and you'll be able to see. So like the base camp is just like right over those ridge. Yeah. I climbed off to the side. I think the World Generation wanted me to climb in the middle though.
Wrong. But nah, fuck that.
Correct. Fuck that indeed. But I got a little lost when I got to the top because I was up there. I knew I was at the top. I just didn't know where exactly the campfire was because I couldn't quite see campfire. Until right there. So yeah, that was fun and stressful.
Sure it was.
But yeah, I think your idea is a good idea. But here's the question now. Should I record that tonight?
Why not?
Actually, no, I can't because I have to get up early tomorrow.
Huh.
I have the Zoom thing.
I'll record.
I know. I'm just watching. I have 3 anti-gravity ropes.
Fuck you.
You remember on the beach when we got Pandora's lunchbox out of the ancient chest?
Yeah.
Guess what I got? Yes. And then I got to the top of the beach, and I got another anti-gravity rope. And then I got to the top of the tropics, and I think I got a regular anti-gravity rope, and then I found another one there. The game was very nice to me.
Yes, it was. Bullshit.
I don't know why the game is nice to me.
I don't know.
Maybe I should date an AI. Maybe that'll go.
God.
I know. Horrible. Not a chance. Also, this was so stressful for me. I nearly got baked multiple times because I forgot that the fire erupts from the ground. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let that play, and I'm gonna stop chatting. So, here I am reaching the end of the caldera. As you could see before, I jumped from spot to spot quite close to the lava. Got a little singed here and there. It's fine. I survived. But now I needed to go through the kiln. Oh boy, that was fun. But I was hoping I would get more rope darts. I wasn't so lucky. But pittons are good. So are sports drinks. I wanted to be ready in case it gave me another anti-gravity rope. But it didn't. It gave me Pandora's lunchbox. And I am not a huge fan of spontaneous death, so I just threw that right off the cliff and went to check the rest of the luggage. After preparing myself and my inventory, I headed out to the campfire, hoping that luck was on my side, as it had been previously. But we'll just have to see how lucky I was. I never did understand who would want to camp in the mouth of a volcano. But who am I to judge? Looking around, I most certainly was not exactly thrilled. And I was quite confused on how I would make my way up. But I had some sort of plan. See, I was trying to look for a spot where I could deploy the anti-gravity ropes to shimmy my way up the walls. But I needed to make it to a spot where it would be a decent climb, and I wouldn't be hitting little outcroppings overhead. If not for the anti-gravity ropes, later, I don't know if I would have been able to make it to the top. But as you can see, I had to find tiny little crevices to crawl into to regain stamina. Something that is most definitely not nerve-wracking at all. My luck did, in fact, continue. I found another rope dart and food. But I was gonna start panicking a little bit. Because, well, all good things with a catch. Like that. Of course, running into a wall waiting for my burns to dissipate, I was still on edge because I knew the lava was rising and time would slowly run out. And I unfortunately needed to find a safe ledge where I could reach into the backpack and get more gear. But, you know, sometimes you run past the safe zone, but it's alright. I was looking for a spot where I could climb without the need of a rope. But I just settled for using the fungus. And testing to see if I needed the rope first. Which, as it turns out, I did. Thankfully, the following sections were a bit tight on getting through, but they were forgiving enough. I, of course, wanted to set up a little safety net just in case. Using the balloons gave me a bit of an advantage on some of the longer jumps I had to do. I was a little more calm at this point since I was on flatter ground. I didn't have to worry about falling to my immediate death if I happened to slip. I did, however, realize that I needed food and I needed healing as well. And, well, I didn't want to lose all my progress falling and dying, so I placed ropes just in case I slipped and fell. It's not a guarantee, but it is better than nothing. And luck smiled upon me. An energy drink and bandages to heal myself. It was a risky jump, but I did it anyway. Thankfully, it paid off. I just need to crawl my way up the mountain. Making the most of my good fortune. Thankfully, I found food. Now I was just climbing on little ledges, working my way up. Most of the hard stuff was now behind me, and no longer an issue. I just need to be careful not to slip and fall and lose my progress. Looking back, I most certainly should have saved one of the rope spools for situations such as this. But you can't predict the future. So close to the top. Nearly there. I had such a sigh of relief at this point, knowing that all I had to do was make my way around and just get out. It was great. It's stressful, but it was fun. Hopefully, I'll be able to convince others to play this with me. I already have one person in mind who might join me, but we'll just have to see if they do. There it is. Peak. Day 7. It was a difficult climb. A lot of gear had to be used. But I made it. I really like the flowers at the top. They are very pretty. I even turned on my microphone to say something towards the end. Let's see, was it the end or it was in the airport? I did just claw my way to the top. Victory is mine. Yeah, I managed to do it. I was very happy, but it was very late, and I could not celebrate as loudly as I wanted to. And once again, by the time I finished editing, it is once again quite late, and it is going to sleep. So, I can't shout and scream in joy and celebration, but I made it to the peak. And now I will let the credits play. I will be recording another video with my roommate and Mr. Nick. Hopefully this Friday. We will see. But I am going to say that for now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful night. And I will see you all soon. Goodbye.